Good evening. As the president makes plans for his military send-off next week, the capital he's preparing to flee is witnessing the kind of military presence once seen only in places like Baghdad and Kabul, which is not something to just take note of and move on from. It has not been this way since the Civil War, and it's growing. The Pentagon late today upping the contingent for next week's inauguration from 21 to 25,000 National Guard members. And just as the threat picture for that took shape, there's breaking news about a police intelligence report that predicted something like what we saw last week, 3 days before the assault took place. That and other new details about last week's attack. They make it clear, in case a reminder is needed, that this could easily have been far deadlier than it was. There's new reporting in the Washington Post about how close the insurrectionists, some of whom were shouting "Hang Mike Pence" and "Lynch Pence," may have come to actually crossing paths with the vice president, his wife, and daughter. According to the Post timeline, this mob being lured away bravely from the Senate chamber door by Capitol Police Officer Eugene Goodman came up the stairs at 2:14 p.m. According to C-SPAN footage and a Post reporter on the scene, that is just a minute after the vice president was moved from the room into a nearby office. Had the attackers arrived just that one brief minute sooner, they might have spotted Pence, and who knows what might have happened then. Just 10 minutes later, by the way, with the vice president and his family in hiding, protected by Secret Service, the president tweeted, and I quote, "Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution." He didn't tweet, "Gosh, I hope the vice president's okay. Please everyone leave the Capitol." He didn't tweet, "There was no fraud. Joe Biden won the election. We'll get him next time in the ballot box." No. The mob, which nearly caught sight of the man they came to hang, still had these words from the president ringing in their ears.
When you catch somebody in a fraud, you're allowed to go by very different rules. So I hope Mike has the courage to do what he has to do. And I hope he doesn't listen to the rhinos and the stupid people that he's listening to. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
Well, those were their marching orders. They were based on a lie. People died because of that lie. And even now, with the blood of police officers on his hands, with thousands of troops in the nation's capital, with authorities in all 50 states on alert for violence, this twice impeached president has not yet repudiated that lie. He doesn't care, or he just wants to burn it all down on his way out the door, or maybe both. He could tamp all of this down, but he won't. Of course he won't. He'll keep lying and saying the election was stolen, just like he and his allies have been saying, which is right on cue, parroted by some of his supporters bent on violence.
Make no mistake, this election was stolen from you, from me, and from the country.
It's unquestionable that our votes were stolen. It's unquestionable.
The Republican poll watchers were ejected, in some cases physically, from the room under the false pretense of a pipe burst.
People were pushed out of the voting areas, told that pipes had broken.
Election officials, poll boxes, Democrats, and suitcases of ballots out from under a table.
Ballots were made up out of nothing. They appeared from under tables and suitcases.
Well, you all saw it on television. Totally fraudulent.
They don't get to tell us we didn't see what we saw.
They changed the rules. They changed the election law, and they did it in an unconstitutional fashion.
They changed the rules mid-game, and they're not being held accountable, and that's a shame.
President Trump won this election.
We watched our American election get stolen from us.
Everyone who's listening, do not be quiet. Do not be silent about this. We cannot allow this to happen before our very eyes.
We have to, as American patriots, we have to do what we can to take back this country.
Republicans will not back down. We will not wait to 4 years from now to change this. We are going to fight this now.
We were normal, good, law-abiding citizens, and you guys did this to us. We want our country back.
Lips to his enablers to beat lynch mob. All of it. The president has yet to take back a word of it. Yesterday, Republican Senator James Langford of Oklahoma sent a letter to his black constituents saying in part, What I did not realize was all the national conversation about states like Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Michigan was seen as casting doubt in Philadelphia and Detroit. He said he was blinded by action, but also behind himself. He expressed regret in this letter, not, we should point out, for casting doubt on the outcome of the election, attempting to overturn those votes, but for what he called his blindness to how his words and actions could be interpreted by black residents of Oklahoma. Now, whatever you might think of Senator Lankford's apology, such as it is, it certainly far eclipses anything we have seen or heard from the president. For more now on the pomp and circumstance that the president wants to move on with, among other items, we're joined now by CNN Chief White House Correspondent Jim Acosta and CNN Chief Political